Well, good evening, Chiefs Kingdom. You are watching the BAK Talk Bros. That's the A there, Aaron, and I am the K, Keas. And we are going to do our post-game reaction to the Chiefs overtime, I guess if you want to say the word thriller, over the Texans. So, Aaron, anything you want to say?
I will start with, hey, Daryl. And Bill. Bill Bradley made it too.
Yep. Hey, Daryl. Bill. Daryl. Both Daryls.
And another Daryl. All right. There should be, I think there's a couple more Daryls from RGR. We got the two best ones, but.
All right. Yeah, Gooch might join us at some point. I don't know.
You had said something in the chat after I had about slow playing for a field goal instead of going for a touchdown at the end there before regulation was over. I don't really get what that was about.
Right. That was the really crazy thing to me. It's like you slow play it there at the end of the fourth quarter just to kick a field goal. You play it really conservatively and you slow play it. And then you get into overtime and you have 3rd and 4, and then you don't even have a play that throws in a receiving option within 5, 6, 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. So like it just didn't make sense to me. But I guess even worse because at the end of regulation, right? And so you have the Texans, they've used up their timeouts. They moved the ball on us for the most part, running it down our throats, and Carl Jeffers bailing them out with flags. So I didn't get the slow playing it part there. What were we afraid of? Because if we knew.
Uh-oh. Are you there, Keas? Uh-oh. Something happened. Okay. Yeah, I'm not real sure why we decided not to just go for the touchdown then. Let's see. Hey, Liz. Liz is here even though she's got COVID.
Yeah, Liz is here. Where's Gooch at?
That's a good question. Said he'd be jumping in. Did you send him
Yeah, I sent him the link before we went on, but I don't know what part of that you caught. I forgot to plug in my Ethernet cord, so I had to put that in really quick.
Let's just go ahead and start it over.
Oh, you guys didn't get any of it? Well, there's Gooch, so we can just. And we have a face as well.
I'll be damned. Why do you look like you just robbed somebody?
What do you say, boys? Well, because what it is
that's racist.
I've
got he does not look anything like Carl Jeffers.
He's wearing all black, man.
I've got my black Chiefs hat on because, ladies and gentlemen, that was a funeral. That game that I watched was a funeral, and I'm going to say it was for the defense because how many times are we going to expect a miracle play to happen and keep us winning? I even put in the Discord, like, I hate to agree with Keas, but Spags may have to go.
And I knew it was going to be ugly, and I knew it was going to be close.
I realized
they played everybody close.
They hung around with Dallas, but that's Dallas. If you're a Cowboys fan, you already know Dallas is going to let you down anyway. But this is one that the Chiefs shouldn't have been in question.
Have they lost by more than a score all season now?
To the Texans?
I'm gonna have to look at that.
Yeah, I'll pull it up, but I'll say this: at least in the Dallas game, they were healthier. They have more guys out in this game than they had for that Dallas game. So, and they pulled the whole 2-quarterback thing on Dallas. So we had a week of film we had that whole game to watch what they were going to do.
Yeah.
They also didn't have a receiver in that game anywhere close to the caliber of Jerry Jeudy, at least athletically. You know, maybe Jerry hasn't put the numbers up, but he's always had that potential to have a game like he had against us, regardless of whether he still should have been able to get 3 touchdowns on us. They had basically 3 scrubs. They only had 3 active wide receivers today.
And 5 tight ends.
So
shout out to Doug Peterson, former Chief, on that win with over Dallas today. Just want to shout that out. I don't like Lovie Smith. He's a former Chief, but I don't like him, so I'm not shouting him out for a good game. Andy already did that, so.
All right, they lost to the Browns by 13. They lost to the Dolphins by 15. They lost to the Commanders by 13. They lost to the Giants by 8. They lost to the Eagles by 12. Titans by 7. They lost to the Raiders by 18, 38-20. They lost to the Chargers by 10. They lost to the Bears by 3. They lost to the Broncos by 7. So, yeah. And we went to overtime.
Seems like they were all close up until the fourth quarter. Then these teams just blew them out.
Honestly,
I'd really have to research that.
I want to hear your guys' opinion on this, because usually I wouldn't say something like this because the talent level between college and NFL is ridiculous. And even though as a fan it seems like it sometimes, it still felt like Georgia's defense could have done better against this Houston Texans offense with the weapons that they actually had available. How ridiculous of a statement is that? How ridiculously wrong am I? Please tell me. Take me to the woodshed. Georgia's defense, University of Georgia's defense, goes up against the Texans. How much difference is the performance? Let me know, Gooch. You're the Bama guy, so I know you hate Georgia. So let me know. Let me know.
He's thinking about it.
He wants to tell me I'm wrong, and right now I know that look. He's fighting with himself. He wants to tell me how absolutely stupid I am, and he's fighting himself.
The thing is I can't. I want to so bad. But you know what? I think the 2 quarterback rotation thing is stupid. I think Davis Mills is a capable quarterback. I've said that. And had they not rotated, I think Davis Mills beats us this week. So I would have to say on experience alone, Georgia's defense couldn't handle them. But during the 2 quarterback thing, nobody gets into a rhythm. And that's what this game is. It's rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Like when Driscoll went out for a few plays and Mills got his feet underneath him, they were moving. And that's why I said it was a funeral of a game, because against this defense, which I don't know what, somebody needs to work on Joshua Williams' trail technique. That's number 1. But 2, it's like he was picking us apart. I think Lovie tanked his own team by still trying to, instead of riding the hot hand, I don't care if you have a quarterback rotation game to game, but during the game, quarterbacks can't pick up a rhythm or a feel of the game, and he should have rode the hot hand. We would have been beaten. I mean, I'm watching it as a Chiefs fan thinking, if we lose this game, it serves us right, because we're not even trying. You know what I'm saying? You've got an AFC West division title on line. All you got to do is win. It seems like the only people that came to play were Juju, Kelce, and McKinnon, and Pacheco until he fumbled again. They decided to take snaps out of his hands, and Mahomes. I mean, it was like nobody else wanted to play. And this is the best, in my opinion, the best Mahomes has looked all year. 20 straight completions at the end of the game. I read somewhere that in those 20 straight completions, like the probability with the difficulty of throws that he was throwing, the probability of him completing 20 straight was 0.8%. No interceptions. He was all over the place. And somehow the Texans look like the Eagles. I think I covered everything about the game that I hated.
I'll just say this about the two quarterback rotation, because I looked up the numbers before we started. I tried to do a little bit of homework tonight. Jeff Driscoll had 4 passing attempts. So it's not even like you even really thought, oh, there's Driscoll, they're going to pass it, right? And maybe that's what they were doing. You know, how Andy would throw in a run every once in a while as a changeup, just so that the edges can't just rush Pat every play. They actually have to be a little bit honest, you know, to keep contain on a run. But it was 4 passing attempts. Davis Mills had 24. So 24-4, clearly Mills is in, you know, whereas when Driscoll's in, you can think, okay, probably not passing here.
I think it's dumb. I think they should have rode Davis Mills. I would have.
They were able to run
this
pretty
is
well on us.
This is one of the first times I can honestly say that when Houston got the ball back in overtime, I was like, ooh, here goes that loss. But had he not fumbled, he had 20 yards. They were just moving.
I called for the turnover right before it happened. I said, we just need a turnover right here.
That's Aaron, you guys, and he's delirious with COVID at the moment. Oh, wait.
Hey, kudos
COVID.
to Frank.
I know I have kind of missed you, and you know who I'm talking about here in just a second. I don't think he has COVID because the other person that has COVID probably scared the crap out of it, so it's probably out of her system already. I mean, this is what happens when you battle demons.
She got on the Rescindivir real quick. I couldn't believe how quick it was ready for her.
Liz is so evil, even germs don't like her. You know what I'm saying? That's
I'm out in the living room on an air mattress. Hopefully not getting it.
Oh, shit.
I don't feel great, but I don't know if that's why.
The crappy thing is if she has it, you caught the flu. That would suck.
Ugh.
It was Paxlovid, not Rescindivir.
All right, so positives in the game. We got to talk about McKinnon, second week in a row. The man dominated. What do you guys think? I know someone said, talked about, do we finally give him more than a 1-year deal?
No.
Who?
McKinnon.
No. He's on the wrong side of 30 for a multi-year deal, in my opinion.
Are we talking 2 years?
Yeah, I would think 2 years. I don't know why you would go even longer than that, but
I'm okay with 2 years, I guess.
Bring me playoff Damien, and then ask me how y'all feel.
Well, he is playoff Damien, is he not?
No, the guy that got cut by the Falcons, Dub. The real playoff Damien.
Yeah, but is that Damien still that Damien?
What is their age difference? They've got to be right about the same age, right? Damien might be a year or two younger.
Say, isn't Damien like 28, 29?
Yeah, I'll look it up, but I think it's something like
Keas.
that. I think it's something like that. Give me a second. But
This says Burrow just tried the Mahomes shovel pass and got denied. And then
hey, speaking of that of the shovel pass, I know we've been getting tired of seeing that at the goal line, but I actually liked today's. And if my wife were here, she would tell you before they did the play, I said, I hope they use Travis as a decoy here because I was afraid that they were going to lock on to him and something bad was going to happen. Sure enough, they used Travis as a decoy and they gave it to McKinnon there. So I actually loved that play, using Travis as the decoy. But Damien is 30.
Is he? I didn't think he was that old.
He is 30.
And McKinnon?
Yeah. So he'll turn 31. His birthday is in April. So he's going to turn 31 before the season.
I think Spags is gone and Cullen's the defensive coordinator next year.
Has he coached elsewhere besides the defensive line?
Yeah, but I like the one thing you can point out is that defensive line, even if they're not getting home, they're definitely more aggressive.
And getting their hands up.
And this is what this defense, they lead the league in batted balls. Like, this defense needs aggression, not passing. How many times, golly, I hate that y'all make me agree with Keas. This is not our dynamic. But how many times could we have jammed a receiver and thrown off the timing?
Just give him a second, though.
Right. If you jam the receiver, you're giving. How many times have we almost had a sack? And if the defensive lineman had just had a split second longer, they're actually getting the sack. Jam the receiver, that happens. Or you're throwing off the timing where the quarterback has to make a perfect throw and the receiver has to make a perfect catch. It doesn't happen because their timing is a split second more off because you jammed.
I'm going to answer what Daryl says. So tell me what you're really thinking, guys, about this game. This is what I think about this game, Daryl. If we play like this in the playoffs, we're one and done. That's what I think.
We keep playing down to their level, whoever we're playing.
The problem is that there's going to come a time when you can't come up for the teams that you're supposed to. Now, on the flip side, this is technically a retooling year again for the defense. But still, at some point, flashes can't be enough.
Right.
I do like to see Frank playing his way into another $5 million contract for 1 year. And I'd love to see Orlando playing his way into a $7 million contract for 1 year. Good on you, OBJ. Appreciate that, buddy.
Hopefully not here. Unless we can get him to go over to right tackle, which, yeah.
I'm game, Liz. I'm game. Do your worst.
I am totally in the trade for Laramie Tunsil camp at this point. If the Texans are willing, he's in the last year of his contract next year. The Texans are 1-12-1. They have no need for the second best left tackle in the NFL right now. So if they're willing to move him, I think the Chiefs' best move is to go out and get Laramie Tunsil, extend him,
now that
not
guy,
have to worry about left tackle.
That guy, if they threw a 5-year, $100 million contract on him, I'd be like, okay. That's a smart investment.
Wasn't it like 6 for $130? And he said no.
Yep.
I would be fine if they traded for Tunzel and gave him the same contract offers as Trent Williams. I think they were probably Trent Williams was probably a year older than Tunzel when 49ers re-signed him, or maybe 2 years.
I thought Tunzel was older than 28, so I don't know.
Is Tunzel 32?
He's 28.
No.
But I thought he was like 32, 33. I didn't
Tunzel
know he was only 28.
Tunzel is young. And somebody send Liz a link. Sickly wants to get in.
I'll be
He
damned.
wants to do a rapid fire question for each of us. Blah, blah,
She-
blah, blah, blah.
She never wants to get on, and now she's got COVID and she wants to get on.
Well,
This is how unpredictable, at least my wife is.
look, check it, man. You shine up a turd, it's still a turd. So sick or well, she was still going to look the same. Man, I've missed you, Liz.
I've got a beautiful wife.
But yeah, I mean, to me,
Well said.
here's my thinking. We had what, 10 draft picks this year? All 10 made our 53-man roster. We have 11 draft picks next season. And if you tag and trade Orlando, you're going to have more. And even if that doesn't happen until after the draft, if you go into 2024 draft picks, maybe you can get some of those back by trading Orlando, because there's supposedly teams and fan bases out there who actually love Orlando as their starting left tackle, and it might make more sense for a running team or a team that doesn't pass, 60, 70, 80, 90% of the time like we do. So
Did you send her one?
Oh Lord, don't get me
I'm
started.
working.
Don't get me started. This team is playing the second worst team against the run, and 9 out of the first 10 plays were pass.
Right.
That makes complete sense. Like, I was literally wanting to call the stadium and be like, tell Andy to run the ball.
They have the worst run defense in the league. We have a couple of the best running backs in the league. And you have a successful run game. It opens up your entire playbook.
Liz, check. I sent it to you on Discord, Liz. The only counter I could offer to that one, and this is me trying to be as optimistic as possible, and you guys can disagree, and that's fine. But the only thing I could think of is why you would do that is we're still running our opening 15-play script or whatever. We know it's the worst run defense in the NFL. You don't have to put in running plays to see how they're going to react because they're the worst run defense in the NFL. What you want to do is use that script to call all the passing plays you can to find out their defensive rules and what formations they're going to come in to match your formations. Like, that's the best I can come up with why you pass it that many times during those first 10, 15 plays is because you're trying to learn what they're going to do on defense, and you don't really need to learn much about the run defense.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I don't mind that. But yeah, I love seeing us run it down their throats. I don't know why you don't just mix it up. The more you mix it up, the less they know what you're doing.
I don't even want you to mix it up. We ran 47 times against the Bills when they had a bad rush defense. 47. Maybe I'm old school and I know you can't stop the run. I'm just going to go 32 dive, 46 dive, whatever. Run it till you stop it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get so tired of seeing the same formation. I'm just going to beg you to stop it.
And that was with CEH, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm just going to feed you this until you show me you can stop it.
So you're saying go ahead and get predictable.
And only with something like that, like if you know that every team that's run the ball has gashed them, and you've got really decent backs who are clipping off four yards a clip. It's probably more than that. But every time they touch the ball, it's 4 yards a clip. You can pretty what, 3rd down and 2? No, because if it's 4 yards, you go 3 downs, it's the first down. Just march it up and down the field. It's ugly. But it's a win.
So I had to check to see what the overall what we ended up with, and it looked like Pat had 5 rushes, but I'm pretty sure those were all called passing plays from what I recall. So we actually ended up running something like we had called runs something like 38% of the time by the end of the game. So it did start to get better with the run, but part of that was we were doing great against the run. Pacheco had, I know I had a run. He had 5.7 yards per carry. Yeah, he had the fumble. I don't know. What did you guys think on that fumble? It looked to me like he had both hands on the ball. Like somehow that hit, for whatever reason.
It was kind of a weird play.
It was one of those Madden hits, right, where you use the hit stick.
Right. It was actually like, because I saw it on the replay over and over. It was actually just the perfect hit. When they hit him dead on, his arms went up and the ball just dropped. Like, you don't see too many of those, especially with the ball just straight dropping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it fell straight to the turf. It was just a great hit. I mean,
right.
He had 2 hands on it going through the pile like he's supposed to. He wasn't trying to be flashy. It was just a really great hit. I mean, you do have those. So you kind of have to tip your cap at times, but like, damn, good hit. You know what I'm saying? And keep going. And it was intentional, and it was Andy William.
Yeah, so I'll throw this up there because Bill said, what did you think about the team benching Pop for the rest of the first half after the fumble? Do you think it was intentional or circumstantial? If intentional, was that Andy or EB? And I think that's what Gooch was saying. It was Andy. Here's my initial take on it, and I just created this. My initial take, like literally right now, because I hadn't really thought about it before. I think Andy did it to piss off Pacheco even more. Like that was Popeye opening up a can of spinach. Like Andy did it just to piss off Pacheco, so he'd come out in the second half and run even harder than he already does. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I like the theory, but I was thinking it was just they were giving McKinnon a drive.
I think it was twofold, but I think it was mainly to make him think. You know what I'm saying? And it's already 2 fumbles in 3 games.
You had the missed chip on the
right.
pass play earlier. Yeah.
And I think it was one of those, okay, he's already gonna be upset, but then Andy benches him. He's young. He's gonna want to come back in and prove that you shouldn't bench him. But also too, to let him know like ball security is a priority. You can't sit Juju because you need Juju. But you can definitely send a message to your running game that fumbles and missed blocks will not be tolerated. You know what I'm saying? You got $500 million standing behind you. That's for the block. And for 2, you drop the ball on the 17. You know what I'm saying? We just can't have it if you're going to be the workhorse. I had to sat him too and made him think about it.
I don't think it's a bad strategy.
Yeah. Well, whatever the case was, he had I think 15 carries for 85 yards, something like
86.
that.
86. Yep.
Yeah, and McKinnon. I thought I had McKinnon's written on here, but we had 189 yards rushing in this game, so 502 total yards on offense, and yet it felt like maybe it was just a score, and maybe it was Carl Cheffers like slowing the offense and the defense down, but it felt less dominating than.
Man, I hate that guy.
502 yards, 189 yards rushing. We won the time of possession by 10 minutes, 37 minutes, 22 seconds to 27 minutes, 25 seconds. So,
didn't feel that way.
No, I didn't. And to be honest, it probably would have been worse if Cheffers hadn't been being so ticky-tacky on the defense. But regardless, I want to know what your guys' opinion is. Like, people can call those plays ticky-tacky, and I would agree with that. And you could say that they were inconsistently so. You know, the Texans weren't getting called for every little ticky-tacky thing the way the Chiefs were. But by the letter of the law, a lot of those actually were penalties, in my opinion. So I think this kind of goes to like the scary extreme, because we've seen this in the playoffs when Carl Cheffers is your ref and a couple other guys are your ref, that the game can get this ugly. And, you know, we can excuse the defense and we can celebrate how good they look each week. But a lot of that is because most refs are letting them play. But if they start calling things by the letter of the law, like Cheffers' crew did, all of a sudden this defense starts looking really ugly.
I didn't know that Oregon and Wink, that was Wiley's guy. That doesn't surprise me, though. The Chiefs tackles give up the most pressures in the NFL. So it could have been OBJ or Wiley's guy, and yeah, makes sense. Those guys suck. I wonder how many times Pat yells at them on the sideline that they don't show.
I know this much. We haven't heard about Pat buying his offensive line like new trucks or anything, right? You know, we've heard of quarterbacks doing that before, and Pat has the most money, you know, on a contract of any quarterback in NFL history, and we haven't heard about him buying his offensive line new trucks or anything like that. You know what I mean?
That's because he doesn't have Gooch money.
He bought them multiple things. But yeah, you gotta step it up every year. You gotta step up your game every year. So he's gotta start off small. Work yourself up to the trucks.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Gooch. Okay, you guys ready for the rapid fire game?
Sure.
I don't know what that means.
Felt us like Bills fans at the game last night with snowballs.
I wish I could. The rules of the game. You'll have a question that I'll feed to you. Each of you will have to answer it with your response. You'll have, I was going to give you 10 seconds, but I'll give you 20 seconds each. When the timer goes off, that's the end of your response. No more explaining. That's it.
I don't need 20 seconds.
Oh, that's what you normally say.
Now we're 18 and over.
Okay.
Sorry, honey, you set yourself up on that one.
I'm good with that.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Hey,
You all.
Sorry. I thought we could just play that timer, but we can't.
I guess
Sorry,
we can
go
go in order of back. So,
Why not?
Gooch, you're first, Aaron, then Keas. 20 seconds. First question. Would you rather have a new kicker or a new defensive secondary player?
Damn.
You're on the clock.
8
Secondary player.
You could explain why.
Oh, crap.
Not anymore.
You
You're
got 5
done.
seconds.
Bucker's better than most of the rookies we got in the backfield, and I'd keep him.
You're done.
There you go.
Okay. Along the same
Aaron?
lines. Bucker just needs to get right. So I say defensive back for sure. Butker's got the leg. He just needs to get back to the accuracy. I'm not sure what's going on. Is this 2 or 3 years now? The first 2 or 3 years, he was
Stevie?
great.
Woo!
I'm going defensive back too. I think, especially a safety, if you can get one of the better safeties out there, it's going to make a bigger difference. We don't know whether Butker's issue is the injury, the holder, the long snapper, his special teams coach not having him practice the right things. So
Done. All right.
How
Good
the
job.
hell did the person that usually talks the longest actually get his shit done before the 20 seconds?
Because he understood the game.
He was given more time than us.
Oh, there you go.
Or he just understood the game. All right. Second question. Are you ready this time, Bryan?
Yes.
Here you go. Here's a bigger one. New special teams coach or a new defensive coach? Go.
New defensive coach. I just don't like how Spags is running the defense. These young boys are aggressive, and he's making them play passive. And I'd rather see somebody in there that'll make them be aggressive. Special teams is special teams. Tobe is still decent. Spags is horrible. I'm done.
Aaron?
I say special teams. I think defensive coach, he isn't quite as outdated as our special teams coach. I think Tobe needs to go. They've lost us more games than the defense has.
Stevie?
well, I was originally going to just give 3 words and say what Gooch said, but Aaron, I would just say, look at the Denver game and the Texans game, and then tell me we don't need a new defensive coordinator.
I don't.
Bigger impact
I'm not
replacing
there.
the defensive coordinator.
I'll definitely give you that.
We're going to switch it up. Stevie, you're going to go first. Here, I know this is going to be a good one, too. So, zone defense the entire game or never return the ball from a kick for the entire game. Go.
Wait. Stop. What was that? Because I didn't even hear it.
Oh, Lord, you're terrible. You ready?
I think she said play zone defense for the entire game or not return a kickoff.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
It was
Go
the
ahead.
first part that I didn't hear.
Which would we rather have?
Correct. Go.
Oh, man, that's difficult. I guess I'll go with zone defense the entire game. At least with the kickoff, there's a chance you actually break one. So, and this offense can do starting at their own 5 or 10. They have to continually do it every week. So,
I hate playing zone defense all game. I am not for that whatsoever. They just sit in a spot and catch it and hopefully get tackled. So that's mine.
it'd be you, Gooch.
I would rather not play zone defense all game. This team, the secondary are all man-to-man specialists, and they get ate up in zones, and the quarterbacks are getting a lot better and picking apart defenses in zone. So I would rather not play zone defense and have them return kicks.
Okay. Did I give you extra time? You long-winded son of a bitch.
My bad.
Okay. Next, we'll go Stevie first, Aaron, Gooch. Question is, Bills or the Bengals in the AFC Championship?
I'm going to go with the Bills because we've actually beaten them the last 2 years in the playoffs, and we had a better loss margin this year. And for whatever reason, the Bengals coaching staff seems to be able to outsmart Andy and Spags.
Okay. Aaron?
What's the question exactly?
Bills or the Bengals in AFC Championship?
Who
Who
are
would
we
you rather
meeting, or who
face?
would I rather?
Who would you rather face? I think that's what I answered.
Yep.
I'd rather face the Bengals, really. I want to get them,
You're
whether
done.
it's before or in the championship.
Gooch.
I'm going to go twofold. The teams that are going to be in the AFC Championship are the Bills and Bengals if we continue to play like this. And if it's a team that I'd rather face in the playoffs, I'd rather face the Titans because our defense is terrible and either team is going to eat us up in the second.
You right now. You're done. You're no longer allowed to play.
I'm just being honest.
Nobody needs your negativity around Christmas time.
Why are we friends then? You already know what you got when you signed up for this.
You kind of came as a package. Okay.
And
Now
when I
this
say
one-
signed up for this, I'm not saying that me and Liz have something going on. I'm just saying we're basically one big family. That's all I'm saying. Let's not get things misconstrued.
I was meaning you came with my husband.
Yeah. We all make bad decisions, but I love him for it.
All right. Now this one is, who would you like to have? If you could have one player back on our team on any position in the last 3 years, who would it be? Aaron?
How long ago was EB?
You got 10 seconds down.
It
You
actually might have been 3 years.
Then I'd say Eric Berry.
It's been more than 3 years, hasn't it?
Gooch?
Thinking so.
In the last 3 years?
This is the easiest one of all, guys. Come on.
I honestly don't have one. Go ahead.
Mitchell Schwartz, no question.
Ooh. That is a good one.
All right. Now here's for the Mac Daddy. Would you rather, and we're going to go circle back around to Gooch on this one, then Aaron, then Stevie. Would you rather have a Super Bowl win for the next 3 years or have Patrick Mahomes for the next 10? Go ahead.
Pat for the next 10. That's easy.
Or Super Bowl in the next 3.
Super Bowl win for the next 3.
Each season we win. I'll take 3 straight.
Yeah, am I understanding the question correctly? Is it winning a Super Bowl for the next 3 seasons?
Correct.
And so the alternative is we'd only have Pat for 9 seasons?
10.
3? No, I mean, as in like three Super Bowl wins the next 3 years, but we'd only have Pat for 9 seasons.
No, meaning you can either have Patrick Mahomes or the possibility.
You're covering up your mic.
No, I get that, but if the second option is 10 years of Mahomes, how many years do we have of Mahomes with the 3 Super Bowl wins?
That's the question.
So since you said 10, I'm going to assume 9 years, only 9 more years of Pat, but 3 Super Bowl wins during those 9 years, or 10 years of Pat and how many wins? I mean, after
basically it's a Super Bowl for the next 3 years guaranteed, or Patrick for the next 10 years unguaranteed per Super Bowl.
Well, I guess I'll go with the 10 because having Mahomes as your quarterback is a pretty decent guarantee.
Yeah, I'll pick that apart. That 20 seconds went way out the window on that.
I actually like this game. You got some more?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Looks like Oregon and Wink like it too. And Bill? I know a lot of Bills. Hi, Bill.
God dang it, since he started winning again. All right, give me a minute.
Hey, Holly. Hey, Oregon. Hey, Maui. Wink made it.
Hey, that was a good one, Keys. I forgot. I was thinking defense the whole time. That Mitchell Schwartz was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
That's why I said I didn't have one, because I'm like, man, I'd love to have DJ
Yeah.
in this.
Your head goes to everybody. That's
I mean,
thing.
I think defensively, I'd say Kendall Fuller. I think he was an underrated part of this defense. Like the versatility he had, where Spags could use him. But defensively, I'd take Kendall Fuller.
He couldn't intercept anything, as my
I mean, I almost said.
Didn't he have the game-winning interception in the Super Bowl?
That was a lob up in the air, though. He'd get his hands on balls. He just couldn't typically come down with them.
Now, Wink, I wouldn't want Tyreek back because this offense is a lot more fluid without him. He was amazing, but he was a luxury item, and it made Patrick focus too much on trying to get him the ball. This offense is a lot more. This offense is a lot more scary now. That, I mean, if you think about it, like I think, don't quote me on this, but there's been 8 to 10 different receivers catch touchdown passes this year from Mahomes. Like, if he starts utilizing, I think he needs to start utilizing Sky. I think they need Fortson to get some more use. I don't know if they're holding him back for the playoffs. I didn't see many passes go KT's way, but I also didn't get to watch all of the game. Like, I have the replay. I'm going to watch it later, but
did he have any offensive snaps?
Yeah, they had him on a pitch count. Kind of like Keas said earlier in the Discord, was ramping him up for the playoff run, but Andy even said he was going to be on a snap count. Like, he wasn't just going to be out there willy-nilly, like they're trying to make sure he's healthy for the stretch run.
That's what I was getting during the game. That's what I was guessing.
So Holly says she'd rather have Eric Fisher back as the left tackle when he was healthy. I mean, Pro Bowl left tackle versus All-Pro right tackle, I would still take Mitch because of he played at a much higher level. But I think the bigger thing is when you have an All-Pro tackle on either side, it allows you to have the rest of the offensive line shade more towards your weaker offensive tackle and help out more. So.
This is what I need to know. Where's Niang?
On the sideline.
Like, he is an upgrade over Wiley.
I'm guessing he's still not in football shape. Or they're waiting for the playoffs. I don't know. It's a good question.
Sorry, somebody put bells on my dog and then just send them into the room, so they think he's a reindeer. All right, so some of the negatives that I had in the game, we already talked about Butker, 4 missed points right there from Butker alone. Not for sure how much is Butker, how much is, the injury, how much is mental, how much is Winchester, and how much is Townsend as the holder. But talking about the pass game, we had 7 receivers with the reception, and maybe you guys don't think this is a negative, but we had 7 receivers with the reception. Only 3 of them had more than 3 receptions. Travis, Juju, and McKinnon had 78% of the receptions. Do you guys think that's an issue going forward? Are we losing some of that balance, or is this just what the Texans' bad defense gave us, or like the cream rising to the top, or what? What should we make out of that? That those three guys had 78% of the receptions today.
Either people aren't getting separation, or Mahomes is mainly going to those guys because they're catching the ball. They're more consistent.
All right. Gooch might have an opinion on this one. I want to throw out a couple positive stats really quick here. So Mahomes is on pace to be 18 yards away from setting the NFL passing yard single season record. So right now, the pace he's on, he'd be 18 yards short of setting that record. So he's going to need a bigger game, but he's still, 18 yards isn't much. So he's still mostly on pace for that record, of course, with an extra game thrown in there.
Was that Manning?
Yeah. And that would, of course, also take us at some point not locking up the number 1 seed, which I'm assuming is going to happen right now. It seems like it would be kind of a battle for us to get in position to lock that up before week 18, but anything can happen the next couple of weeks or so. But also, Mahomes has had 320 yards passing and at least 1 passing touchdown in 8 of his last 9 games. So throwing out those stats there, kind of a kudos to Pat, in addition to the, 20 straight receptions or completions today, and being 28 out of 36 overall. Anyway.
What's that?
I said, anyway, moving on. I just wanted to throw out those stats here quickly as I look at the Bengals having came back against the Bucs.
What does that mean? What's the score?
It is now 27-17 Bengals.
So they shut down the Bucs and they scored 27 themselves?
What's that? The Bengals have 27, Bucs have 17.
Good Lord. I don't know what to say to that. Don't let up.
Yeah, it's about how my football week.
Talking about fantasy.
I'm talking about everything. Every team that I've rooted for this week, other than the Chiefs. But yes, the fantasy is bad as well. Yeah, Wink, it was 17-0. This is something I think all season. When you are winning fairly big on a team going into halftime, it's really hard that second half unless you have a coaching staff that is really great with in-game adjustments, because when each team has quarterback receivers that are capable of scoring points, but one side is in defensively at halftime, there's not much for them to adjust to. The other team gets the opportunity to make all the adjustments they need to make because they're whose game plan wasn't working from the beginning. You have a coaching staff who's really good at in-game adjustments to where they can start making their own adjustments in the middle of the other team's halftime adjustment you see this a lot, right? How many times have we seen a bad team beating a good team going in at halftime, and then the good team not only closes the gap but wins the game because their coaches made great halftime adjustments, or good teams beat up and fairly good teams come back on them. It's what happens.
And I think that's happened a lot with the Texans.
I thought that I think I just thought the Buccaneers staff would be good enough to overcome Zach Taylor and Anarumo's adjustments, however you say his name.
Yeah, I think that's happened a lot with the Texans also. That's why they end up being so much higher scoring. As they go into halftime with a lead, and then the other team figures them out and kills them in the fourth quarter.
Did Gooch the Christmas joy from a child?
I only caught part of that.
Asked if he went somewhere to go steal the joy from a Christmas child.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Oh, I didn't see that he came back.
Firing the high school kids again.
You know,
Can only
I
be
gotta
so
give
lucky.
I gotta give my joy somewhere.
All right, I have 6 more questions, and then I'm out of questions for tonight. You guys ready?
I'd say so. Sorry, I was reading Oregon's comments.
So I was in the middle of deciding who I was going to fire next. See, I had a boss who would listen to Another One Bites the Dust when he was going to fire somebody, and he told me that every good hero needs theme music. So when I go in, I play the Imperial Death March from Star Wars so that they know what's coming.
See, when I feel like you enter a room, it's the siren from, what is it, the Purge movies? That's what I would think you'd come into.
I'll be right back.
No, Aaron, we say that at the end, buddy. And Keas is gone. Oh, no supervision for Gooch.
It's like trying to wrangle the cats.
Hello?
He knew better. He took us all down when he went down.
I can't hear Keas now.
It's because he was muted.
I still can't hear him.
Yep.
Not saying
Watching a
that's
silent
deal breaker.
movie.
Keas, turn your your volume up. Nope.
What's up?
Nobody
We
can
can hear
Keas.
everybody. We hear everybody but Keas. This should be a cell phone commercial. Can you hear me now?
That's how old you are.
He broke it. Yeah, Daryl, he did.
I don't know. I've had this problem a couple times.
Do you think this is his wife's Christmas wish? What we're getting? Sure. He can hear us, though. We should start asking the questions now.
That's fine. Does Stevie know sign language? Okay.
Nope.
That's too bad. Not that I do.
I know a couple of things.
I know the universal sign language. Now I can't hear nobody. What the hell happened?
We can hear you. At this point, none of us should respond to Gooch, so he freaks out every time.
Sasha was drinking, so I muted myself.
Is the only one not Keas? What's going on, buddy? He has no idea. I read his lips on that one.
Yeah. It's typically all
You're
Gooch's
right, Holly.
fault.
It is Gooch's fault.
Well, yeah.
Can you get completely out of melon and come back? Or will that boot us all?
Not without shutting us all down.
Okay. Thought that might be the case.
Yeah, Gooch said, oh, we're all left unsupervised, and then we all went down.
Yeah, I was like, hey, Keas is going, we're unsupervised. This is going to be great.
So let's start with the question.
What does Stevie enjoy more? Dan's Instagram photos or Dan's TikToks?
Wait, Harms has TikToks?
You obviously don't follow.
No, I don't. But now I'm going to go look. I never understood the TikTok anyway, but now I'm going to go see.
That's because you're friggin' old and call it the TikTok.
I'm guessing the photos are mostly of Avery, so I'd go with that one. His daughter's name is Avery, if you didn't know that, Liz.
I know my partner, and I'm going to say neither, because even with pictures of Avery, there's still some of Harms in there that he has to bypass. So I'm going to go, he likes neither.
Okay. I think you probably will both want a point on that one.
Card signs. Point.
Now, would Stevie rather have a drink with Tom Brady or Phillip Rivers?
Oh, that's a good one. And I'm still going to say Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. Hands down.
Is that because he has a Chargers tattoo?
I forgot about that.
I didn't even know about that.
No, it was some... I don't remember. It was a weird conversation.
Doesn't it always turn weird?
I thought it was a Chargers shirt, though, that we were giving him crap. Even though it wasn't Chargers, it just had the same colors.
Oh boy, here we go, Holly. He claims he doesn't, but we think he does. Pretty sure it's a tramp stamp.
And you made him leave.
We're going to go down. That's how he's going to end the conversation.
I personally
Okay,
would
what's your
want to
first?
have a drink with Philip Rivers too, because I think that would be a fun conversation.
He's a whiny little bitch, though.
He's a giant douchebag?
He's better than
He had
sitting
a
down
funny
and
accent.
talking avocado ice cream and pajamas with Tom Brady.
Well, that's changed. Hey, have you ever noticed on the back of Brady's helmet, the saying on it says "Inspire Change"? Do you think he meant that about Giselle?
Well, that's a good one. Well, Giselle was a cheater because you had to have been dating that or messing around with that jiu-jitsu instructor for over a year. There's no way you divorce Tom Brady and you're automatically on dates with the guy.
You are what you marry. He's a cheater too. Deflategate.
Amongst others.
Inspire change. I had to start giggling when I saw that. Oh.
Another question?
Oh, okay. Let's see. What would Stevie rather? I kind of like this game.
What's wrong with the other questions?
Because I only have 6.
34-17 now? Jeez.
Any questions from you guys that are watching? Ollie, do you have anything to say for your special teams today? You really have to put it as gas. Aaron,
What?
did you really have to organize it to say gas on the screen?
I didn't.
Child.
It was Gooch.
Well, we know he's a child.
Wasn't me.
Stevie's in the background playing then.
That could be.
Holly, how could you not watch?
Because she knew it was going to be an ugly game. My mom quit watching, and that's saying something too.
For you old guys, TBH means to be honest. Just so you and Gooch understand that lingo.
That's not funny.
Uh-oh.
Still nothing. This happened to me a couple weeks ago. And it just eventually came back. I think I restarted my computer twice. And the second time it finally let me talk.
Well, Stevie, I guess you need to get a pen and paper.
Yep.
He doesn't look amused.
Well, he can go last every question then and hold up his paper.
Oh, I do like that.
You get to read it.
That works. I like Holly's question. If y'all had a position you could play in the NFL, what would it be?
Quarterback.
Typical.
I had an arm. Now my shoulder will go out of socket if I try to throw like I used to.
Like a girl.
Miss, I can't jump and block a car from getting hit.
Huh?
Made me hit a car.
It made you hit a car.
Yeah, because you wouldn't jump up and grab the ball.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I'm old. You can't
Right.
remember stuff. Anyway, what's the first question?
Oregon, he didn't have to be a quarterback. He's lucky. Plus, I have no idea what he's talking about right now.
Because she's old and doesn't remember.
Or it's one of those delusional things that he thought happened that really didn't. I have no idea what you're even talking about.
So give us the first question, Liz.
If I was an NFL
Running back.
Nah. Well, it depends. This late now, yeah, but wide receiver or cornerback, I can be a bit of a diva. Plus, I got hands as soft as a baby's ass, and I played it in college and high school. So there you go.
What are you even scratching?
All right. Question number 1. Collinsworth or Buck? Who would you rather listen to call our games for the next 2 years?
Collinsworth. Sadly.
That's a fact right there if I had to go between those two.
And Stevie agreed.
Question number 2. If you had to trade Patrick for any player in the entire league, who would it be? You had to.
Herbert.
Ugh.
Seriously?
That's not an answer. You got 10 seconds.
Burrow.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
He's a douche.
Steve, did I just hear you say Tom Brady?
I can read lips fairly well, bud. He's
You
going
said
the
what?
opposite. Yep. I
So
can't do it when it skips that.
Brady's final answer for Stevie. That's what I'm going with.
No, it's not.
So when
Look in
your
the comments.
piece of paper, Myles Garrett.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's what he said?
Number 3.
Don't hate that.
What position would you draft first the next year?
Oh, I thought it was going to be between this or between that.
You done wasted 10 seconds.
I'll go left tackle. I think
Safety.
Safety?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
You say Steve.
Reed sucks.
Steve?
Any position that Dan played?
Yeah, I would think it'd be between left tackle and defensive end, like Holly said. And it looks like Stevie is the same. We'd have to trade up for a good defensive tackle or defensive end or left tackle.
You wouldn't have to trade up. You have the first pick.
Oh, I didn't catch that part.
So, question 4. Biggest flaw in our team this year?
Defense.
You can elaborate.
Tackling.
That makes sense. I say special teams. I don't think I need to elaborate.
Give it up on the special teams, Dub.
Tommy has been a bright spot. So we're back to our punter being our best special teams player.
Yeah, we're just waiting on Keas to type.
Of course, Holly.
Don't let them butter you up, Holly.
Coaches. That's what Stevie
Yeah,
said.
that's a good one.
I can't really disagree with that either.
Would you rather go to a Chiefs Super Bowl game or on your dream vacation?
That would be a dream vacation, wouldn't it? So, yes. That's my final answer.
That's why you're on an air mattress in the living room.
That's because you're sick. You're always sick, but
Okay.
not in this way.
Bryan, you're forfeiting in 15 seconds.
Oh, well, my dream vacation would be an after Super Bowl party with all the players and getting to hang out with them for a night. So I'll do that, my dream vacation.
Okay.
Okay. So not the Super Bowl itself, but the after party.
Yeah.
That works. I like that, Holly. Very true. And number 6.
Definitely
If you
not
had to
how
buy one item, and an item of any year you're choosing, if you went to the Super Bowl and it was a Chiefs Super Bowl, what would it be for your souvenir?
What?
You went to a Chiefs Super Bowl, and you had to buy one item for a souvenir, what would it be?
You know mine.
You have to
Glass?
buy an item?
But yeah, you can't steal it.
Huh.
And kidnapping is not allowed.
Oh, God.
It would, of course, be a hat for me.
Well, that's dumb.
Did the Chiefs win?
That's not part of the scenario.
Huh?
It's not part of the scenario. What would it be? Souvenir.
I need to know. Did the Chiefs win or lose?
It
Win.
doesn't matter. They don't
Kinda
sell
does,
hats.
based on the souvenir. Like if the
Yeah.
Chiefs won, I want Mahomes' game-worn jersey signed, and I'd buy it.
For $1 million.
Be more than that. He wouldn't sell it. You would
Okay.
have to kidnap Mahomes, and that's not legal.
It'd have to be a fitted hat.
When did the legality play into this? You didn't
I
say
don't know.
that.
We did no PSA announcements. We can't do this. Oregon and Gooch are having a fight over Mahomes' jersey now.
He already sold it to Oregon. So, Gooch, you got to replace his money plus.
Holly, you'll probably be able to get those on eBay.
Yeah, here's the thing, Oregon. I know some people who come get that jersey.
More illegal crap.
Steve is in depth typing on this.
Is he going to share his screen?
I had no idea.
He said something about a fumble. I didn't say that. I don't know what he said after that. Something about my wife.
Nope.
Now he's stuck. Hey, Bill.
Bill said he's going to buy Holly. We can't do that, Bill.
I didn't hear the
That's
question.
Oh, my God.
Hey,
He didn't
there's
hear
my
the-
guy.
Did that work?
It
Yeah.
did.
All right. I said I didn't hear the question.
If you went to the Super Bowl and the Chiefs are playing, what would be the one item you would buy as a souvenir? You can't kidnap anybody. You can't buy people. You can't do that kind of stuff that these idiots want to do.
I said I wanted a hat.
But I can buy, like, you were talking about, like, a piece of memorabilia from the Super Bowl?
You could purchase anything. You just can't kidnap, steal, pillage. I'm not going to say rape because that's horrible. PSA.
So, like, I could buy Mahomes' Super Bowl ring?
I don't think you would have it then, but
What, are you going to sell your house?
Well, all right, if it has to be at the Super Bowl, then probably the football given to Mahomes after he wins MVP.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Again.
yeah. We're rolling with some people that have some friggin' money, man. I might work it like a dog.
I'm assuming that we could buy whatever we want based off your questions, so that money wasn't an object.
Or was that just a trick question to see how loaded you guys are?
Oh, I'd have to get a sugar mama if that wasn't the hypothetical.
I thought Gooch was.
I was definitely not thinking. I was going based off money and everything. It would be for a win, though. I'd want a hat. The last Super Bowl hat wasn't. It's kind of strange.
The one that
All the light up here.
no, that would be the Royals World Series hat. The
Is it?
Super Bowl hat is what Keas is wearing,
I'm getting mixed up.
if I'm correct.
I mean, if money was an object, I wouldn't even be able to go to the game. So
Well, I'm pretty sure Gooch said he's taking 4 of us with him, or the 3 of us with him. Don't act like you're muted.
He didn't say no.
Man, no, that'd be a hell of a boys' trip. This is more than welcome. Man, I've missed you, Liz.
We would definitely be in jail. That's all I can say.
And by missed you, he means he's missed you like a herpes outbreak.
He had one last week, did he not? So you guys told me earlier.
She told me she loved me.
Is that why she didn't charge you?
That's one of my favorite lines. Dave Chappelle.
Yep.
Oh.
Somebody's having fun. I heard a lot of laughter right there.
I have no idea what's going on back there.
So what are you guys' plans for Christmas?
Well, it's not to watch Broncos and whoever's playing. Who is it that's playing on Christmas Day?
Broncos and the Rams.
Weren't they talking about switching us?
Nope. That's
I don't
actually
think they
happening
can.
because it's Nickelodeon's. It's a Nickelodeon thing. You know the NFL is all about them dollars.
I think Steve would have to sell his house and his 2 oldest kids.
I don't even own my house, so that wouldn't do me any good.
Now, as far as the children go, again, I know some guys you could probably get 25, 30K per kid. If they're blonde hair, blue eyed, up to 60.
So time to sell all 8.
I'll accept the last one. We can keep the last one.
So Aaron, when do you want to start having kids? We can make a payday like that.
They have to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed, though.
And they'd be part of you, so they'd send them back.
You know, that's hurtful. My parents always did tell me that if I got kidnapped, they'd always bring me back.
What can
Probably
I
some
say? Great
traumatic
minds.
childhood memory there.
Emotional death.
What can I say? Great minds.
Aaron was blonde when he was little. Now he's just gray.
It shows wisdom and is very studious, Doug.
He also
Don't
ate
let her
crowns,
talk
though,
to you.
too.
He also ate crayons?
Is that what your mom said?
Well.
Peeled crayons.
Oh.
Always peeled the paper off of them.
Behind a couch by himself.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Aaron. I hate people, too.
You haven't even met my family either.
So let me give you guys a question here, not to make it back about football again, but a question that I posed on Twitter. You get 5 moves this offseason that you can guarantee yourself to make for the Chiefs. That includes re-signing a certain player, cutting a certain player, trading for a certain player, firing and hiring a coach. 5 moves for next year's Chiefs. What do you do? What are your 5 moves? And I can give you guys my 5 because I already put it on my tweet on Twitter anyway. while you guys think, and then you can dissect those or give your own, whatever you want to do here. But my 5 moves were trade for Laramie Tunzel, hire Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator, re-sign Juju, re-sign McKinnon, and sign, not as a full-time player, as a part-time player, J.J. Watt. My 5 moves.
Mm. No, what was the question again?
You get 5 moves next offseason that you get to make for the Chiefs to be better for next year. Like 5 guaranteed moves. What would they be?
I would get a new defensive coordinator, sign Juju, get a new left tackle. Let's say that's 3. I would probably re-sign McKinnon. And I would get a new safety.
So 4 out of the 5 the same as me. And I would endorse the safety move as well. I forget who the free agent safeties are other than Jesse Bates, but definitely need to improve that room.
Aaron, you go.
I'm trying to think of the defensive coordinator I liked. But a draft a left tackle. It's hard not to want to re-sign Juju. Get rid of Tobe. I don't know what coordinator I would get. Re-sign Snead? Yeah. I'll take that from Bill.
That's a good one. I need 7. Snead and then get a new kicker.
So Snead is actually under contract through next season, so you wouldn't have to use that as a move for next season.
Wouldn't have to, but
Right.
hopefully save some kind of money.
So
Am I missing one?
I don't know. I wasn't keeping count. I thought she was going to say it too, Holly.
I had it in my head. But I've got COVID brain.
Can't keep putting it off, Gooch.
Or for those of us that know Liz, Sunday.
Or every day. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Guaranteed moves?
Yeah.
I would trade for a left tackle, probably Tunzel. I would go after what's the guy's name from Washington, defensive end?
Chase Young.
Let's see what it would take to get him. I'd add a corner like Xavier Howard, since Micah just signed a new deal. So that would give me, because I would rather have McDuffie, Snead, and a third elite level corner. That's 3. I don't know if Flores would be my choice, but definitely a different defensive coordinator.
I'm going to say draft defensive end for my 5th.
Actually, you know what? I'd go get 4 Abrams to play safety.
Who?
Jonathan Abrams. Oh, man, that would be the defense pretty much shored up, really. Then I would just have to be greedy. So then let's say actually, you know what? My 6th and 7th, which would never happen, is I'd do a Rams because the salary cap is going to do nothing but go up. And as long as you're winning, you're going to be able to afford them. I'd call it the Jets on Sauce Gardner and Brees Hall.
Did you just say a 6 and a 7? I didn't get 7. I just said if I had 7. You get 5.
No.
You said you needed 7.
I needed, but I didn't get it.
There's her memory again.
Would you like a wild burger with your French fries?
What did you just say? I hate you.
I agree, Bill.
Holly, did you get rid of that who day spam?
I don't think he's bad. He's not a safety like the Raiders wanted to use him, which was the Juan Thornhill type. But he's a hell of a tackler, and he hits. This defense is all about. It should be all about aggression. And the problem is our defensive coordinator wants to play soft, and they don't respect them. You hit him, Mike Tyson. First thing he said, everybody's tough till you punch him in the mouth. And that's exactly what Abrams would do.
Yeah, I get that one. I'm trying to look the list of safeties that are available here. Looks like Jordan Poyer actually is a free agent. There's some decent defensive backs that are going to be free agents. I don't know if they'll actually make it to free agency, but there's at least the possibility there. But anyway, Gooch went way out there on Sauce Gardner because that would never happen. Not in 1,000 years, but I guess there's people out there that say Andy moving on from Spags would never happen. So, but
I think it will. Like I just think the problem is that Andy is more of a quiet guy. Nobody thought he was going to get rid of Sutton either, but he held him to the end of the year and then he let him go. Contract's done anyway, so it's just we're going to go in a different direction. Andy's not the type of guy that's going to just throw his coaches under the bus in front of the press. But it doesn't mean behind the scenes he's not talking like, yo, we need to tighten up.
All right. He won't even throw refs under the bus, so.
Right. It's the NFL. Like, in all actuality, defense should win you a game or two every year. And I don't mean like, oh, they made a miraculous stop or whatever. I mean like shut down an offense at least 1 or 2 times a year. That's just my idea.
Right.
Holly asks, do any of you have anything good to say about Spags? And I would say I like his aggressiveness.
At times, yeah.
He's got a really good jawline.
Listen, I think he would be an awesome person to hang out with, off the football field, to hang out with and talk football with.
You definitely have something to teach us.
I think intellectually he knows a lot, and comes off as a fairly likable person, to his players, and I'm sure he has certain coaching strengths, things that he's good at teaching players, specific positions he's good at teaching. There's a lot of buts after all of these statements, but yeah, I mean, there's good things to say about Spags. But I don't think that's really the question or the issue, right? There's good things we can say about Orlando Brown Jr. There's good things we can say about Andrew Wiley. There were some good things we could say about Sorensen. Like he had timely turnovers. There's always something good you can say about players or coaches. It's just at what point, like, there is a mindset and part of Chiefs Kingdom, and I'm sorry that I'm going to step on people's toes. They're probably not watching right now, though, because we don't go to one extreme or the other for the most part. But people are almost making Steve Spagnuolo and Orlando Brown Jr. into irreplaceable pieces of this team, as if they're really afraid of what would happen if we moved on from Spags and we moved on from Orlando Brown Jr. They are not great at their jobs. Spags is smart, but he doesn't make the same kind of adjustments. He doesn't play with the same. He doesn't coach with the same kind of aggressiveness. He isn't the kind of out-of-box thinker that other defensive coordinators are, like the Bengals defensive coordinator, some of these other defensive coordinators, and some of the rules and stuff he has is, I want to say, old-fashioned. So he's stubborn in clinging to things from 15 or 20 years ago. So it's not that he doesn't have good, it's that he's stubborn in his areas of weakness, which to me is a huge character flaw. But I think the biggest issue with all that is his defense plays what we all get frustrated over, the offense and defense. So you can even say this about Andy. The team plays to the attitude of the coaches. Like, Spags is not hard enough. These guys do not have that attitude. I've said it 1,000 times. Look at Mike Vrabel's Titans defense. Mike Vrabel's the way he is. His defense takes after him. Dan Campbell is an intense guy with the Lions. That team is taking on his intense, aggressive nature. So it's not the Spags is bad. It's a question of, are his weaknesses too much to make up for his strengths? Because he has great strengths. And at the end of the day, he's just not an irreplaceable defensive coordinator. We're not talking about him being a top defensive coordinator. We're not even talking about him being that much of an above average defensive coordinator. There's a lot of guys that we could replace him with and we get a lot better. That's what I would say. Monologue over. Sorry.
If you want to catch more of that, get on Chief Concerns. Stevie was on there earlier this week. Interacting with Jason Dunn and what's the other guy's name?
Marcus Dash.
Thank you.
You guys can answer this question now. Sorry.
I already did.
I have something good to say about him.
Besides his jawline.
Yeah. He did take a bunch of rookies, and the defense is middle of the pack in the NFL. However, it's one thing that I learned in business is sometimes the one person in charge can get your team to 1 point, but you need a different voice to get them to the next level. So I won't. He's not terrible. You're not terrible holding down one of only 32 jobs in a sport as difficult as the NFL. However, I do think his style may be a little outdated, and it might be time for a new voice in the room. You've got all these talented guys, like I said. He likes to run the blitz, which is amazing because he sends them from different angles and stuff like that. But the back end isn't as aggressive as those boys played in college. And I think you need to turn Bryan Cook loose. I think you need to let McDuffie, who's doing his thing, continue to do his thing. But I mean, you know, it's time to get away from. You need more steak, less sizzle. Is what I'm trying to say.
I'd like to see Snead be a vocal leader, like Honey Badger was.
I'd just like to see it from anybody, and that's one of the reason why part of my 5 was bringing J.J. Watt. And I understand he's injured. You know, he's injured a lot. He's getting older. You know, he had the heart issue or whatever it was earlier this season, the arrhythmia or whatever it was. But that's why I say he's a part-time player, right? More kind of like the Dunlap role, only, you know, a little bit better at it. You're talking about a guy who has the attitude, who's had years of being the leader, you know, the guy who can actually show Karlaftis pass rush moves and how to have a pass rush plan, you know, because Frank, I got one move and it's a spin move, Clark, isn't the guy you want teaching Karlaftis pass rush moves. So, you know, I think bringing in some players like that, maybe we need to bring in more veteran backups with that kind of attitude and the mental makeup. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
We got to go back and say his one move.
I thought I got that in there. That was one. But yeah. I doubt J.J. Watt. He probably get an offer that's more in line with a full-time gig. But, you know, if he didn't, I think it would be worth looking at. Or a move like that. If you were looking for a full-time player, Yannick Ngakoue, I mean, all he does is go from team to team and get pressures and stuff. So he's going to be a free agent. Just saying. Well, you guys, we got anything more to say here? Anything you want to add about today, about your feelings on the direction of this team?
No. They need to start playing to their potential and not playing down to their competition. That's what I would like to see. put their foot on the gas and don't take it off. Gooch?
The Seahawks are not going to be pushovers, and the Raiders just won on a last-minute crazy play. So the end of the season, just because records doesn't make the games easier, and they need to focus. And yeah, they may have the weakest remaining schedule, but these teams are playing. And they're going to look at the chance to ruin the Chiefs' shot at the number 1 seed or even their playoff positioning as a win for their season. So they need to is that check time, in my opinion. How bad do you want it?
Right. And I think as we saw today, teams are going to be out to hurt us. So it's not going to be, these games aren't going to be fun. And I don't think they're going to be nearly as easy as everyone wants to make them out to be. So,
hey, Oregon, we are fans, bro. We're just not. We understand that things aren't all sunshine and rainbows. Like, we have to remember that a lot of the secondary are young, but we can't just say the win's a win, because that kind of rose-colored glasses look when our secondary is picked apart in the playoffs if they don't step their game up. And then we're calling for people to be benched, or those people that are like, oh, trade Patrick because he threw 3 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? It's you have to be logical on both sides. Yeah, we can be critical of the team and still find out great stuff. They're a middle-of-the-road defense, which we've always said if you gave Patrick that, we win a Super Bowl. The problem is they're middle-of-the-road defense with a young secondary who can still be abused. And maybe abused isn't the right word, but they don't have the experience to not fall for the quarterback's eye movements or the double and triple moves and stuff like that. And then the offense could always be better. I mean, but we still love the team. We're just not going to feature no BS when we talk about it.
I think it'll be better when McCole gets back.
You know, I want to say, I know we say, and I know we keep hearing, all we need is a middle-of-the-road defense. I'm going to push back a little bit on that, because the reality is even though they are not at Mahomes' level, because Josh Allen and Burrow do have better weapons around them offensively and better defenses, I think it does have to be better. I mean, it sounds dumb to say because we've still bested Allen in the playoffs the last couple of years, but we didn't best Burrow with that. But I think part of it is, if we talk to Packers fans who probably had that same kind of attitude as they reflect back on Aaron Rodgers' tenure with the Packers, where did that get them? Where did that attitude, we're not going to be critical, as long as we have Rodgers, everything is fine. Where did that get them? Like, is this what you want? Because I don't really care to be the 1990s Atlanta Braves, and I just crossed over into baseball. I get that. But that's not what I want. I don't want to be the 90s Braves. I don't want to be the 90s Utah Jazz or whatever other team was getting their butt kicks in the NBA Finals by Michael Jordan. Like, who cares if we win a freaking game? Who cares if we win an AFC West championship? That's not why they're playing. And they're not playing just to entertain us either. So, I mean, how can you start saying who the hell's a fan and who the hell's not a fan when some people are fine with just a win, an ugly win against a bad team in overtime, and other people aren't happy with that and are able to emotionally and mentally bring themselves to a place where they can actually admit there are faults with this team, is what I would say.
Well, Oregon isn't talking about us. He just doesn't like the kind of fans, and he's still calling them fans. He just doesn't like when they go to extremes like trade Mahomes type deal. That's all he's talking about.
Oh, did you see the backlash in the Discord when Bucker missed that kick?
No.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't in there
man.
a whole lot.
It was
the second half.
It was bad. The ones who say 10 minutes left in the first quarter, down 7, the game is over, we lost. Yeah, I'm not that extreme. I'm not that extreme at all. Initially I was like, okay, so it's going to be a game. What I was worried about is that young defense at the end, and I know you guys aren't talking about us. I was worried about the end because that defense. I like Davis Mills. There's a reason why he was, he obviously is a decent quarterback, but it was the first time in my Chiefs fandom that they got the ball, and I was like, crap, we're going to lose this game. Because they're just moving the ball too easy. Every time I went back to watch the game, because Keas is nice enough to stream it for me, we were behind again. And I'm like, now I realized they did that to Dallas. That was Dallas. This is us. But you're right. There are a lot of fans who want Andy Reid gone or Patrick traded or whatever. I think Andy's biggest problem, this is my biggest thing on Andy, and you can go back to Philadelphia and see it, he won't embarrass anyone. He just won't. 27-0 against the Broncos. Yes, there were 3 turnovers, but he kind of went vanilla. And I wouldn't say he's not, and it's not one of those, he's not playing to win, he's playing not to lose. Andy's not Andy's not Belichick. He's not going to try and embarrass you. Belichick will try and embarrass you, which is why last year or a couple years ago we only had Mac Jones throw 4 passes to beat the Bills. And he does that. Or, since Aaron brought it up, Deflategate. Why the very next year after Deflategate, he ran up the score on everybody with inflated balls to show you he didn't need to cheat. That's his genetic makeup. So it's not that Andy, time management, okay, but Andy's not just, he won't put his foot on. It's not how he's built. For him, a win's a win. If he kept trying to put the foot down, there's more of a greater risk of one of his players getting injured. Because now he's trying to run up the score instead of just playing it safe. Which, I know I'm about to get some backlash from that because I see Keas tuning up. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I think we're all in agreement on people who overreact with the fire Andy and trade Pat, talk. I think we're all in agreement on that. I think the 3 of us can at least admit, though, the difference is the 3 of us can at least admit that, and I'm not saying anybody in the chat can't, but that Andy has some faults. Some of those are serious weaknesses, and we can understand why fans would get frustrated. Maybe not with the ultimate outcome of fire Andy, but we can understand some of those frustrations. And one of them being anytime anyone says, well, Andy won't fire Spags. Well, when you hear that, and if you believe that, that's going to tick you off, even more, because it probably is a move that needs more consideration. And so, again, this is why we try to find the balance, because, yeah, we don't want to fire Andy, but at the same time, we have to talk about the fact that he does have some faults, and we can explore why, like Gooch was just doing there. So, a lot of times I try to say it's a both and type of thing. And so, listen, you can have your emotional reactions during game day because there's a lot of frustration. You can let it carry into the next day. At least at some point, try to make sure that your emotions are rational, even if it takes a couple days to get there. But, yeah, I'll say that. I wouldn't.
I would.
Is Andy's
But I was
biggest fault his loyalty?
I think so, but I also think his system works. Like I mean, to everybody that's screaming, fire Andy or this, that, and the other, trust me, out of 32 teams, 26 of them would take Andy Reid in a heartbeat. Like he wouldn't be able to leave his office in KC without a job offer. Like and he would win. And I think as fans, even as players, I think, and I said this last year, none of us was alive when the Chiefs won their Super Bowl. So he brought us a Super Bowl, and now we're expecting 15 more. The game just doesn't work like that. The balls don't bounce that way for everybody. Not everybody's going to find loopholes like Belichick just to get over or have a dynasty like that. It doesn't happen. We haven't won. Andy Reid is the only coach in the history of the NFL to have 10-win seasons, 18 years or more, and the other ones are Don Shula and Bill Belichick, and no one's ever wanted them fired before.
Well,
And
for one of your points is not true. Pretty sure you were alive back then. 2, anybody that wants to fire Andy was obviously never around before Andy. Because we were pretty much a one-and-done team in the playoffs at any point in time. And at this point, everybody's going to have flaws, but we have never been a more winning franchise than when we had Andy. Everybody's going to have flaws. Everybody's going to have critiques and play Monday morning quarterback. But the bandwagon fans just need to jump off and jump on the wagon for the Bengals or Miami or somebody else that's winning big right now.
Yeah,
That's all I had to say.
I think there's a big difference, right, in the discussion between firing Andy and firing Spags. Because Andy's already top 5 coach in NFL history in terms of wins. And it's like, what's the options out there to replace Andy realistically? You know what I mean? To actually improve upon the head coach position, right? So it's really a matter of what things can you live with and how can they minimize Andy's weaknesses. You would hope that strengthening the offensive staff around him would do some of that, but it's a different question, right? Because Andy's all the way up here as a head coach. Spags isn't all the way up here as a defensive coordinator. There are current free agent defensive coordinators that are already better than Spags. So the availability is there. Where there is not an NFL head coach who's better than Andy that's available right now. And I can't even imagine a scenario where one would even become available. And the closest one to it is Sean Payton, but he's not even a free agent. And because I believe he would have to make a trade with the Saints, if I'm not correct. I believe he would still be under contract if he came out of retirement.
The Saints would have to get compensation. And
he's still not at Andy's level, right? So there would be a drop-off.
Yep.
There's not a drop-off if you move on from Spags and you go get a Vic Fangio or a Brian Flores, for instance. So huge difference in that kind of discussion. Same thing with trading Mahomes. Mahomes is the best quarterback out there, and you can make that argument the best quarterback ever, right? Which is part of the reason there's so much pressure. Because if you have a top 5 head coach of all time, you have arguably the best quarterback of all time, and your head coach is one of the best offensive geniuses and play callers of all time, you can then make that argument that you shouldn't be playing so many close games. Hence the frustration with people. Hence a win is a win being a trigger point for a lot of fans. Because it shouldn't be. And I would agree with that, Hefe.
Hey, Hefe.
We need to start comparing ourselves to defenses like the Bills. the Bills work because they have an all-around team right now. Plain and simple.
Right.
Like Stevie brings up, Josh Allen has that defense. He can make crazy or go for crazy risks because he's got that defense and he can count on them.
Correct.
And Stephon Diggs is pretty good as well, so it's like, and you can't say, well, he has Travis. Yes, Travis is good at finding space, but athletically, I mean, Stephon Diggs is such a great athlete, and in some ways, even better than Tyreek. So you can't just say, well, Pat has Travis Kelce. Yeah, he has a 33-year-old tight end who is great after the catch, but doesn't have the quickness or speed, before the catch to break open plays like a Stephon Diggs does, right? Burrow has Chase and Higgins and Boyd. So, plus a good defense that I still think is a little bit elevated by the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the beginning of our season, our offense was pretty much loaded. We had an unbelievable wide receiver room. Our running backs, we had them pretty much stacked for the most part. Pacheco has become a breakout star. I love watching that guy run. For one, he just runs with fury. But our defense is lacking. And I don't think it would be that much lacking if they were being coached correctly. We built up on the defense as well. And we still really don't look all that great. We're better than what we were, but we're not great. And I think all that comes down to coaching in that part. We've given Spags plenty of time to build, but how many more years do you want to keep giving somebody that's not producing?
Are we talking about EB now?
I think she said Spags.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a couple phone calls. I had to disappear for a minute.
I did want to say something about MVS's touchdown catch, though. That was a hell of a catch.
Yeah, finally.
I'd like to see more of it, but yeah, that was great.
I think we made a mistake on our safety. Not just saying Badger, but I don't think Reed has panned out like they were hoping. He's hurt more times than he's not, it seems like, down on the play. I think we really need to focus on that. But that's where our weakness is right now. Yeah, we could always be better in every area, but our defense is where we lose our game.
Well, I'll say this about Reed. He actually led the team in tackles today, so there's that. But you don't want your safety. I don't think you really want your safety leading the team in tackles. But I guess if they were more from him being in the box, that would be more palatable. So there's at least that. So
he was typically.
Oh, we both clicked.
Oh, you're right. That's why they're called a safety. They're supposed to be the last line. Unless they're being used as a blitz option, which really shouldn't be the. But how many times this year have we sat there and watched a lead dwindle because of the fact that we automatically revert back to a zone defense when we have a lead?
And prevent.
And prevent. I mean, there's only so much Patrick can carry on his back. And it's not just Patrick. It's the offense, too. I mean, you can have a number one offense. You can throw for 5 touchdowns a game, run for 3, put all the numbers out you want there. But if you don't have a defense, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And Oregon, I get what you're saying. I think we've expressed ourselves, that we were overwhelmed by how good the young guys looked so early in the season. I guess the one thing is, tackling being an issue and the attitude. Those two things I think are two of my biggest issues, and those aren't something that I see us really being able to improve as the season goes on, because at this point, this many years of tackling being issue with a Steve Spagnuolo defense, I'm not all that sure that he knows how to teach a team how to tackle properly, one, and two, the whole attitude thing. To me, they play to his attitude, just like the offense seems to play to Andy's attitude. And so, I guess that would be my thing. Yes. And I think I've said it every week. Each time each player fails, they're getting tape. They're getting it pointed out to them right there, what they need to work on, how they can improve, what technique needs to be better, their mental process, all of that. But these are different things. And I don't see them being able to improve in those areas. And you just don't see the innovation from Spags like you see from other defensive coordinators. And I guess I'll be done talking about Spags saying that.
Well, on a different note, I popped on here real quick. I guess in the spirit of Christmas, these two guys are going to be getting a Christmas gift from Santa's evil sister, as Gooch would like to call me, I'm sure. Aaron has already got his. He's not allowed to show it. But if you guys can help these guys get to 200 subscribers, I myself will send out a random subscriber some BAK Talk swag.
Hint, hint, Gooch.
So help us hit 200. And
I'm a subscriber.
you're already getting one, stupid. See, in the spirit of Christmas, you made me call you stupid.
I'm not even sure I'm a subscriber. I have to check that out.
But help us get to 200. Help these guys get to 200. And you guys will all be eligible for some BAK Talk swag. You'll be having the same item that they have. And Aaron, what do you think of the swag?
I like it.
I think my soda melted.
We get to 200. We get to 200 subs, and I'll go a whole week without saying anything about Spags.
That's a gift in itself.
I may have to create YouTube accounts for that.
And Holly, I need you to send them your address as well, because you'll be having one come to you also for being our moderator. Which sucks for you because you can't really moderate the B and BAK. I mean, I don't think God can moderate him.
But I can. Watch this. Oh, where's he at? Oh, no.
This is why I don't have children. My mama said the world couldn't handle another one of me.
So help us get to the 200. Everybody will have a chance to win some matching swag that we all have. Holly, get the guys your address so I can get it out to you. It's a little delayed because this person here is sick and can't get it out, so you guys will be getting it. But I'm going to get off of here. Merry Christmas to you all, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Liz. And Aaron, Liz, we hope you guys get feeling better there.
Thank you.
Yeah, Holly said that too.
Oh man, the greatest Christmas gift Liz just signed off. Happy Hanukkah, Bryan.
Gooch, Holly says she doesn't think the world can handle one of you.
She might be right. I am a little much.
Yeah.
As you two can attest, being my only friends.
I was getting ready to say, Holly, you're looking at his only 2 friends. So. Well, any last questions or any last thoughts from us, I guess, before we go here?
11-3, Seattle back home after a 3-week road stretch on a short week. Should be fun.
Another noon game.
Yeah. Will Kenneth Walker be healthy for this game? Because if he is, I'm sure. I mean, if I was a team, I'd be looking at what the Texans did today on the ground. I mean, I didn't look up the numbers, but they were kind of running at will on us. Outside, right? I don't think they were getting anything inside. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, for listening to us give the positives and negatives and the realistic take. I assume if you just wanted to hear the positives, you wouldn't even tuned in. You could have just celebrated that a win is a win, but it's still fun to talk about, hit everything in between and argue a little bit and hear everybody's perspective. So I want to thank you guys. Gooch, you want to pay the bills here?
Check it. We appreciate all y'all checking us out. I just got told we're at 196 subscribers, so that's cool. We appreciate y'all. This is nothing but fun for us. We're Chiefs fans. We like talking Chiefs. It's great for me because I can actually say what I think and not have to sugarcoat it for the real fans who see what we watch on TV and replays and all that. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Happy holidays. Make sure if your family can't be around, you call them, tell them you love them, and we'll catch you in the next one.
We'll be back.
You got your team, and we got a kingdom. Ready for war, we score and win. We're the Super Bowl.